In the previous lecture, we were looking at how we can integrate Bootstrap into our websites. We've already successfully integrated it by using the link and adding in some Bootstrap CSS in the head, and then the JavaScript files in the bottom of our body. You can already see when I actually run this site, the font's actually slightly different, and this is just one of the standard Bootstrap fonts that they use. So we know that it's working already. Now, I'm not going to give you a full overview of everything that Bootstrap can offer, because that in itself would be its own course, because you can get very deep into it. What I want to show you is how you can use this as a tool, how you can integrate some really cool stuff, and then if you feel like really getting into Bootstrap, you'll know how you can explore it more and get further into it. So, if you go to getbootstrap.com, click on Documentation, and then go down to Components, I'm going to show you how easy it is to start using some of the quick out-of-the-box functionality of Bootstrap. I'm going to show you how you can use some of their buttons, drop-downs, jumbotrons, and also navigation bars, which makes things a lot easier, and they look very pretty. So it's up to you whether you use your own CSS skills now, or if you want to start using some of the stuff that Bootstrap offers. So here's just an example. You can see all the nice different buttons that they have to offer. So I'm just going to show you quickly how we can integrate one of these buttons into our own site. All we have to do, let's see, I want to have the warning one. So I'm going to look for the warning one, which is here. And you can see that there's a class. It's called class button-warning. And this is actually held within the CSS file that we're importing and integrating here. So we don't need to actually create any classes ourselves. That's already been done for us. So if I'm going to put that in here, I can obviously change the text to Bootstrap button. If I save this, you'll see we now have a button just like it was before. And obviously, like we can add loads of different things. So for example, let's go to an outline button, and we can add, let's say, the success one. All we have to do is copy this, add this in wherever we want, and then lo and behold, we have our awesome success button. So that's buttons, and you can take a look. They offer a wide range of different buttons, everything from large buttons, small buttons. You can even have ones that are like the radio buttons we were looking at before, like this. And you can play around with all of these yourself as much as you like. For now, we're going to go look at drop downs. You can see here that all you need to do is, if you want something like this, for example, all you have to do is take the code that's being offered here. So we want the whole thing for the drop down. And let's just put this in under the buttons. We'll paste that in. I mean, it could be formatted a lot nicer. So let's just tap that in a little bit. There you go, that looks better. I'm going to refresh, and there we go. We have our own drop down button. So we could change the text very easily by putting that as menu, option 1, option 2, and option 3. So now if we refresh this, we have our very own menu button ready to go. Fantastic. So, but there are so many different drop downs that we can have, and all we have to do for any of these is we just have to copy and paste the code. It's really that easy. So it makes things just a lot easier to go with. So for example, even forms, you can just take this, which is incredibly easy. So you can, and they offer all the different options that you might want for a different form. You can have things like choosing files to integrate, but that'll wait. You'll have to wait a while to work out how you can actually use files, but we will be getting onto that in the future. So now let's have a go with jumbotrons, because they're always fun. This is something, for example, you might want to be on your home page, something that's quite eye-catching, the first thing that you want someone to see. So I'm going to get rid of all the stuff we've had so far, making sure that I leave the script in there at the bottom. I'm going to refresh the page. There we go. We have a nice jumbotron. And so you can use that, instead of saying hello world, can be welcome to my portfolio. So you could use this even in your portfolio website. And then for your button, you can just put see my work. And then in the href you could link that to where you have on your website your work. It's really that simple. Finally, I just want to show you, it's all the same thing really, but I want you to see how easy it is to do for these different incredible things like nav bars, like the buttons, like the drop downs. So let's have a look at one. You can add everything. So if you just copy this code here, you can have a whole nav bar that has the home link, has drop downs, it even offers you a disabled one that's a disabled link so you can't use it, and even a search bar. So that's awesome. Let's take a look at what else we can have. So if we just wanted like a basic one here, we could use that. Let's say we wanted this, but we didn't want to have the disabled one at the end here. Let's take all of this out. Add in the code we've just put. Okay, great. So we have this, but now let's try and get rid of this disabled part. All we have to do is really just look in here and see where it might be. It looks like we have it here. It's quite obvious because it's named quite clearly, nav link disabled. So all we have to do, because of all the HTML we've been doing so far in the CSS, we can kind of intuitively work out what's what. And we want to get rid of that list item, don't we? So all we have to do is remove that. And there you go. We have our navigation bar as we like. So essentially you have all of these at your fingers now. You can use these however you want. And if you're very interested in going deeper into it and seeing what you can do with all these different things, all you have to do is go to Bootstrap at any time, go to documentation and click on the components. And then you'll be able to see all the different things that you can do. So this is something you can have a play with whenever you want. Let's say a month down the road, you think, oh, I could really do with using some more Bootstrap because I don't want to spend too much time with the CSS myself. All you have to do is go to the site and it will show you exactly how you can integrate these different things. So as always, what I recommend you do is do this by yourself now. So make sure that you go back to the last lecture and you're able to integrate the CSS of Bootstrap and the JavaScript in your HTML file successfully. Then go on to this documentation on Bootstraps, go to the components and see if you can add your own navigation bar, your own drop-down menu, your own Jumbotron, your own buttons. And if you can do that, then you're well on your way to being able to use Bootstrap in your websites. So have a go at that and I'll see you in the next lecture.